Yo, welcome gentle people, Sanjay Uchiha here, the Uchiha that Itachi forgot that went to YouTube. I am back. Most of you would have realized that, I really didn't do anything last week in terms of content. But here we are with Boruto episode 287 in this fresh week. And honestly, for those of you who stood with the Boruto anime last year, I kind of dropped it for the greater part of last year, if I'm being honest. But honestly, in some shape or form, one way or another, all of our patience is now being rewarded as we are heading into the code arc. As of this episode, we'll be starting with adapting chapter 55 if I'm not mistaken, and no confirmation of how far they'll adapt, but this is it's an exciting time to say the least, because the Boruto anime is genuinely at its best consistently when it's adapting the manga. That's just the fact of the matter. But of course the concerns are still there, or that level of curiosity in terms of what will they expand on to really complement the manga material. Of course, there is the matter of the manga not being too far off from where we're starting with this episode, so that's still a thing. So it's kind of yeah, how long are we going to really be adapting the manga for? And do we go back to two years of anime only content after said time? That is the thing. But I've rambled on long enough. Of course, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. We are almost at 2,000 subscribers. I appreciate all the support. Of course, let's get into it and see what this first manga adapted episode has to offer. Bombas, the maker of the Ishiki wine. I get thrust by a shadow clone, that's why I'm here. Yo, loving those visuals right there. Yes sir. Come on, Otsutsuki god. It'd be funny if the man's like, never mind. I'm not gonna do that. Woo. Ooh. Okay, nice way to... Seems like they've updated the opening right there. There's a bit more movement, to say the least. Can't wait to see how all these characters are going to be used. If at all. Kawaki just seemed like, yo dog. But just wake up. Hold on. I don't know if it's the angle, but it just look like weird or something. Maybe it's just the angle. Come on, these guards never got the memo that they're not important characters. Let's go. Well, okay, he's just walking. Well, at least they're not censoring too much. Yo, I've missed this soundtrack. It's just appropriately menacing, if I could put it like that. Did you thought? You think? What the hell would this know? Well, this is completely new. So I guess they're really expanding things already. Stop it. Lad. It's interesting. It's interesting they've made Kawaki be the one to actually talk about that, because it should be a motto. That must be really unsettling, bro. Imagine a man come out to your face and then just Naruto looks so ominous, dog. Shine some light to this man's face. Amado have the freshness still, but not like. Alright, time for best girl. Alright, finally after years. Code has a heart for the bros. Loving the OST, as per usual. Once enough. Alright, here we go. Best girl. There she is. Woo! Making it sensual. I'm liking this OST as well. Alright. almost like a doll fresh out of plastic. Let's hear the voice. I don't know. I was kind of expecting, but then again, she is 16, so I don't know. I was expecting like, I don't know what would be a good example for her voice that I was expecting. Yeah, it's whatever. Alright, so that was episode 287 of the Boruto anime. Jeez, peace, claw marks. So, not gonna lie, again, it feels great to be back to, adapting manga material. And if memory serves right, this episode adapted either chapter 55 or 56, one of the two. I think I might want to lean towards thinking it's actually chapter 56. And I would say it was a decent episode. Nothing to really write home about when it came on to like art and, well, at least the animation. Yeah, it wasn't like out of this world, obviously. And of course, given the nature of things like I was expressing at the start of the video, when it comes on to, we're still close to the manga, there's no shaking that. And given our previous experience with like the car arc, in terms of them like adding material that like rightfully complements or supplements the manga material, and like just take the manga material and like really improve it in an organic, natural way. We have basically kind of started that in this episode as well, but given how close the anime is to the manga right now, like the additions that we got this episode felt more like, it didn't feel like an improvement. If I'm being quite honest, it felt like stalling, if I'm being quite honest. But let's take things one step at a time. So, of course, this episode deals with Code, who is the last surviving member of Kara, the last inner member, and he's got his inherited will from the maker of the Ishiki wine, Momoshiki Otsutsuki himself, to basically cultivate the chakra fruit and repeat the process across the galaxy to become, as they say, a unique, peerless existence, a Otsutsuki god, essentially. And of course, Code, being Code and who he is, has sworn revenge on Naruto, Sasuke, Boruto, Kawaki, and Amado. So it's kind of already setting the stage for the upcoming, or the the inevitable conflict between Code and the Leaf. So that's essentially it. This episode, honestly, I think one of the benefits to really take from it, and even when we were reading it at this point in time in the manga, like a few years back, which is crazy to think, crazy to say that this was years ago, probably like 2 years ago, it really and truly cemented the threat of Code from a lore standpoint, at least, because the fact that in the manga version we had Amado talking to Naruto and Shikamaru regarding the cyborgs that he created and the specialness of Code, and we still had Kawaki talking to Boruto in the manga on the cliff, but it was more so about just like putting karma on Code. But the point is, this episode really establishes Code as like a major threat, and it does so in quick fashion, using characters who should have the knowledge on him, in this case it being Kawaki, essentially. And just the fact that he is one of the cyborgs that are stronger than Jigen, who basically got modified to put his power in check below Jigen, of course, it kind of sets up the stakes and something to protect, which is Amado from being the one to actually release the limiters of Code. So that's the thing. I think this episode does a decent job in setting up the stakes, believable stakes, and kind of helps to make it a seamless transition from at least the last time we were adapting manga material to this section of adapting manga material. So the stakes and the threat of Code. So yeah, that's what I would say about this episode, which I really enjoyed. Now, of course, as I mentioned, one of the things that we have to expect is, one, yeah, we can expect the anime to do, take the manga material and improve it in natural and organic ways, fine. But like, and they really did that with the Kara arc, way back when, between episodes 181 to 220, give or take. But at the same time, given that we are close to the manga, is that we can expect that, but we can also expect them to be doing things that will either you have to be questioning, like, why are they doing this, or it just won't really fill that role of naturally improving the the original material, if you get what I mean. Because okay, one of the major additional scenes that we got when it came on to this episode compared to its manga counterpart is seeing Code fight the guards. And we did get that in the manga, but that last one where he was fighting this guy that was injecting himself, no, that wasn't in the manga. And it's like, to me, I'm like, yeah, Code should just be blitzing through. I mean, it didn't have any difficulty, but it's like, it felt more of an excuse to pad the runtime, and that's my major concern going into the rest of this arc. Like, as I said, I am looking forward to what they do to improve it and additional scenes and all of that, but it has to feel natural, man. And I don't know, it just felt, to me, it just felt like it was just cool, just finish this guy, right? This like, what am I watching, honestly? And it's not like the animation and everything was okay for that scene, but it's like yeah. So there's that. Of course, by the end of the episode, we have the reveal of a new character. Supposedly one of the cyborgs who was supposed to be disposed of by by Boro, ordered by Jigen, and apparently it's the one that knows everything in this world, Eida, and best girl. I did love her introduction. To me, OSTs play a major role in really kind of setting the tone and mood when it comes on to things like this, especially character reveals. And I did love the OST they used for her. Like, it just worked. And then just how they kind of, for that last scene there, kind of really up the art to show the different shots of Ada and thing, and it kind of gave you that that Barbie doll, like fresh out of the plastic type of vibes. It's like how her whole aesthetic is. So it's interesting. So but of course, Bog, the character that we are introduced to in this episode as well, seems like he knows quite a bit about her, given that he's the one that's supposed to be, keeping watch over her. And despite what they told us about Code in this episode, right? The fact that Ada herself, and well, more so Bug, who's freaking out, feels that Code won't be able to do what ever he wants in a situation, I feel that really sets the foundation in setting an interesting dynamic when it comes on to this episode, where yes, Code has been set up as this overbearing, powerful villain, quote unquote, at least if he gets to a model to release his limiters, fine. But the fact that they've set the foundation for this next seemingly quote unquote villain or antagonist who Code won't be able to just, hey, do this. I think it's creating an interesting dynamic to really improve the engagement. So, yeah. But what can I say? I like the episode, so we'll see where it goes with episode 288 and how they approach adapting the rest of the arc. So, yeah. Anyway, Sanjay Uchiha Sanjay Uchiha here, guys. Hope you guys are having an awesome day, noon, or night. So, yeah. Hope you guys are doing awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.